What's up, YouTube fans? So we're back again for Saturday Night Live discussion. Thank you for joining me. Those that are here already, I know there was a couple of people waiting. So today we're going to talk about displays. So I'm going to kind of go over how I display my figures. Of course, everyone's got their own style. You know, my display is definitely not the best or the right one. You know, everybody's got a different display. So I kind of wanted to talk about today, hear from you. I'll show you a few things. So I get a lot of questions, especially when I do my collection videos. Every 6 months I do a collection video. So if you go back and look at my channel, you'll find those collection videos. Every time I do that, I get pretty much the same questions about the pieces that I'm using or the lighting or anything that I have in my display. So I wanted to show you that today. I'm going to try something different today. I'm going to try to actually go mobile and show you a little bit a tour of my setup, the good and bad parts of my setup. And then I want to hear from you guys on what do you do and how do you display and what are some cool things that you found. So first, let's talk about, where do I buy stuff for display? There's a couple things that I need, at least in my display setup. One is these, the Acrylic Risers. So this one actually has a film on it. So they come like this in a box like that. And basically in the one I bought, I got 10 of these. So let me show you where I get those. So this is Amazon for $16.99, 17 bucks. You can buy these, and they're pretty nice. I mean, they're nice for smaller figures. Really big figures, it's hard to get on these, but generally speaking, I have this. So I'll show you a little bit later my display, where I use these, how I use these. These are nice. Acrylic risers are nice if you've got a whole bunch of figures in one shelf or in one DTOF, and you want to have different levels. So that's how you do that. You have different heights of these. And that helps you kind of break up the display and allow figures that are in the back of the display to show up a little bit taller. So here you can buy some. I mean, these are, I guess they're calling it for jewelry or whatever. I thought I saw one with a toy on display. Yeah, right here. So they've got some. But that's kind of an essential, is risers, especially if you don't have unlimited space. I personally don't have unlimited space. Let me just hide a few people. What's up? Pure Rage, Daniel Sanchez, Asaf Martinez, BBO3. Thanks for joining. I know you guys come every week, so I appreciate that. So that's kind of my first recommendation, is to get risers like this. Right. The next thing I would recommend is lighting. Now you can get lighting from all over the place. I mean, there's tons of different ways to get lighting. First thing I'd recommend LEDs, because LEDs are low power, high light output. They're bright. So you want something pretty bright. I mean, and maybe even adjustable. And so I'm going to show you what I use, which is what you see on the screen right now. Right, these LED, these are under cabinet lighting. What's up, Enton? What's up, 3 Livestream? I think that's Pack. And these are really nice. They're a little bit pricey. This is for 8, so there's 8 lights here, and a whole set. You basically get a power adapter. So I'll just show you everything. So let me see how I'm going to do this. Let me get the screen off of here. Okay, there we go. So you get one of these. You get a power adapter, basically. And then on the end of it, there's a switch. So you can turn it on and off, which is nice. Then you get one of these, which is like a adapter to plug in. And there's 6 little plugs on them. So I can get 6 lights on this one adapter. These are the lights that you get. It's just basically a strip. It's an LED strip. So the one I really like is not this one. And I'll show you in a little bit the ones that I prefer. But these are nice because they're very thin. They don't take up a lot of space. So if you have DTOFs and you want to light them up, this is nice because it's very thin. It doesn't take up a lot of room, but they're really bright. And you can link them together. So they all have these little connectors. And you can get all different kinds like this. I mean, there's tons out there. I'm just showing you the one that I bought. It's a pretty good price, and it's really good quality. This is definitely good quality. It's called AIBO, A-I-B-O-O is the name of the company. So I recommend getting some LED lighting. You don't have to get this one, but I recommend some LED lighting. This is the one that I use. What's up, Yu Zhang? Thanks for joining. Appreciate you coming in. All right, the next one I want to show you are stands. So sometimes these little acrylic displays don't do the job, right? These aren't always the best, and you need a stand. So for smaller figures, really small figures, I'm talking like very light, not a lot of weight, pretty easy to grab onto. These Tamashi Stagex stands, or even the knockoffs. There's some knockoffs on there on Amazon. These stands are really well for smaller figures that are very light. But anything Fans Toys or most X-Transbots, anything bigger that's heavier, these won't work because it just doesn't have the strength to hold it up. So I found this stand. So this is a much sturdier, heavy-duty stand. I'll show you this in a few minutes. I'm going to try to go mobile. That might be a disaster, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to try to go mobile with my phone here and see how that works. But I'll show you this stand. It's a really, really nice, sturdy stand. It does hold up heavy Fans Toys figures. So that's kind of the next thing you need is some stands, right? If you want flight poses. There are some figures that come with flight stands, but if you don't have one and you want to display it, this is good for stuff like Hot Toys or just action figures in general. I found it's pretty good for Transformers too. So this one is $23.99. Okay, and the last thing, which I actually didn't bring up on the screen, and I'll bring this up. It's called a Bcs Car Display, and maybe they're out of them. Yeah, it might be out of it, but there's a card display. I'll show you that too. I have that here. Let me turn off the screen. I have that here, so I'll show you that card display. But if you like to display your collector's cards, then you need something for that too. So that's kind of all the equipment that I use. And you can get your own stuff. Oh, there's one last thing I want to show you, since I get questions on it all the time. Is Spudger. So these are also available on Amazon. They're $6. I mean, they're super duper cheap. You can buy these, and these aren't really for display. The purpose of these is to work out panels and help you transform figures. And I get questions almost all the time, which is why I'm sharing it now, is you can get these on Amazon really cheap. But you really need a good set of spudgers if you're going to buy third-party figures. What's up? Anton says, you hear about Magic Square Devastator? I did. We're going to cover that in our TF News next week. So once a month, we do a TF News live show. So we'll be doing that next Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with T-Man 978 and Pig for Life. So check that out. We are going to talk about that Magic Square Devastator and the New Age Devastator. There's actually two. 3 live streams. I really need to get displays so I can display my collection. It's in a closet. Okay. Yeah. Channel's on fire. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, let me go mobile. This might be a disaster, so please bear with me. This is the first time I'm ever trying to do this. So if this doesn't work, I'm sorry, and I apologize in advance. All right. Okay, I think I'm mobile. Let me mute that. Can you guys hear me? All right, so that lighting setup I showed you earlier, here are the switches for that. I just have these down here. And you can kind of mount them wherever you want. I'm just hoping somebody can confirm they're actually hearing me and everything's kind of working. This is literally the first time I've ever done this. All right, so here are the lights I was talking about. And the nice thing about these lights is they're linkable. So let me show you one. So here's the actual plug, and you can just keep linking them together. That's what it looks like. And so it's infinitely linkable. You can keep going to the right. Obviously, I just turned off this one. Whoa. That was not good. That's what happens when you go live. So these lights are really nice because you can keep going to the right or to the left. So that's a nice thing. This is that stand I was talking about. So this is a really heavy duty stand right now. It's holding the Fans Toys Goose figure. And that's really cool, especially for flight poses. But you can also put this vertical and hold a figure that's, you know, floating in air. So that's a really nice stand, really strong. I recommend this stand. I showed you that link earlier in this live stream. All right, another thing I showed you is these. So these acrylic displays, they really are nice. And they kind of don't show up, which is what you want, right? You want it to just kind of melt into the background, not really take up a lot of space or a lot of, you know, you don't want it to be noticeable. One thing I do regret are these shelves. So I bought kind of cheap shelves. These are, you know, hardware store shelves. And the reason I regret them is this is really ugly. This is the bracket to hold up the shelf. And I've recently found, what's up, Yuhan, Last Prime, Samuel Cassio. I'm just doing a quick tour on display. And then we're going to get into you guys and how you display. But the reason I regret this is it's kind of ugly. And I recently found a thing called floating shelves. So floating shelves don't use brackets like this. They're actually hidden inside the shelf. So the shelf is a little bit thicker. And then you put the bracket inside the shelf. Highly recommend getting floating shelves. Unfortunately, I have, I don't know, 15 shelves here to replace. And it's just too much. It's way too hard for me to replace them. I did buy one just to try it out from Amazon. And unfortunately, it was too thin. So this is about 8 inches wide. Those floating shelves I bought were 6 inches, which was too narrow. There are nice IKEA floating shelves, so I do recommend those. My friend James Magaletta, he has supplied a lot of figures for review on this channel. He recommended IKEA. Unfortunately, there's no IKEA within me for 200 miles. So if I want one of those, then I can't get it. But I do recommend shelving. The reason I don't get DTOFs for my house is I don't like the bottom 2 shelves because it's really hard to see stuff down there. So that's why I put everything on shelves on display. Here, let me show you this over here. I brought this up too. So this is the Tamashi Stagex Stand I mentioned. For really small stuff like this, it's really nice, right? It holds that stuff up just fine, and it works. You also get stands like this for display. You know, if it comes with the figure, great, right? But if you don't have that, then you're going to need something else. All right, so I think that's really it. That's all the stuff I want to show you. So let me switch the sources back. And this might be, again, first time I've ever doing this, and I'm going to get your questions and your comments. So give me a second. All right. I don't know if that worked well. Okay. Somehow I amazingly did this technology. I'm proud of myself. So I saw a comment, how often do you dust? Why not display in a DTOF? So I kind of tried to explain why I don't display in a DTOF. I am interested in your guys' comments, how you display, but in just a second. So the reason I don't put it in DTOFs is I don't like the bottom 2 shelves. They're just too low. It's hard to see what's down there. I do like the look of the glass. The glass is really nice, protects the figures, but for me personally, I don't like the bottom. How often do I dust? I dust very rarely. So somehow this location, I'm in a basement right now. This location in the basement, for whatever reason, doesn't get dust. I very rarely need to dust. The only time I need to is if I knock a panel. This is a drop ceiling in this basement. So if I hit a panel, of course, dust is going to fall from that drop ceiling panel, and I have to dust that. But other than that, I've been really lucky. I don't really have to dust. Xbox says, I don't trust floating shelves. Yeah, that's the problem. You need to get really high quality, really nice floating shelves, because you're going to put, 20 pounds on it. Then, yeah, you got to be able to trust it. So you got to buy good stuff for sure. That IKEA one, I think, is rated for 20 or 15 pounds. I think the IKEA is rated for 15 pounds. So you got to make sure it's rated for the weight. Also, you got to make sure you hit a stud, right? You don't want to just put it into the sheetrock. It's got to hit a stud. All right, so I'm going to get into your comments, how you guys display. I'm really interested in hearing from you. So we'll spend a little bit of time on that. We're going to go for another 10, 15 minutes, and then we're going to call it for today. So Samuel Caslow, thanks for joining us. He says, I display using shelves. I'm constantly changing out each week and stored figures. That's cool. Yeah, I have an OCD problem. I can't have a figure in a box. I have to have it on my shelf. But I learned recently that, hey, you don't need to display everything. You can put some stuff back in the boxes. Just store it. So that's a great idea, Samuel. I need more display space. Yeah, don't we all? We all need more display space. Enton says, do you collect SH figure arts Dragon Ball Z? No, I don't. My friend Pick for Life, he collects those. He has tons of them. I'm not into Dragon Ball Z, but I do love SHF Turtles, the TMNT. I really wish they would continue that line. Unfortunately, they lost the license. If they started up again, I would 100% rebuy all of the Turtles and buy everything they put out. I love the SHF line they had there. Lucky Hand says, I just have a few DTOS at the moment. Floating shelves are a lot like turn screw locking nuts that you would find on assembled furniture. They're a pain to work with. Yeah, so I heard that too. As long as it's sturdy and it's not going to fall off, I don't mind, right? If it's going to stay put and figures aren't going to fall off, then I'm good with it. But you got to get some good stuff. Philip, what's up, Philip Martis? Thanks for joining. 3 live stream. Wow, you have enough bandwidth to run a mobile and the main PC. Yeah, I just did that. Try shutting things down on my network. Okay. That wasn't really relevant to our conversation, but thank you for that comment. Yeah, that's the first time I've ever tried something like that. That probably would have caused a crash. I wasn't careful. Yu Zhang Zhang, is Studio Series worth it? I'm the wrong guy to ask that question. I don't like Studio Series very much. I will say this. I like the Studio Series 86 line. The 86 line has been really cool. I really like the Studio Series 86 Grimlock. I really like the Jazz. The Hot Rod is really good. Those 3 are my favorite. The other 2 are okay. I don't really love Cup, and Blur's okay. But I highly recommend the 86 line. If you're into Bayformers, then you're going to love Studio Series, right? So that's my take on that. Mr. Magma says, I'm really thinking of getting Masterpiece or Mainline. What's your opinion on Mainline figures? We're not really talking about that today. In fact, thanks, Mr. Magma. I'll probably take that as a topic for my next live stream next Saturday. So I don't want to get too far off topic. We're going to be talking about display and how you display and how you make things look nice on your shelves. Axbox talks about, I use IKEA Vitsjo. I don't even know what Vitsjo is. I'm going to have to look that up. I use IKEA Vitsjos and secure plexiglass. Oh, that's a really good idea. Interesting. So I've never heard of that setup. That's pretty cool. Metal frame using magnets. I wish I could figure out how to do that. G. Tony says, I use standard shelves. Yeah, that's what I'm using, just basic shelves. A lot of people use Billies. So Billies is basically a bookshelf, and you use the shelves, and you just adjust the height based on the figures. That's a really nice option. Again, I don't like the bottom 2 shelves on any display. So Billies, for me, they're nice up until you get to the bottom 2 shelves. And then that's useless for me because I want to see it at eye level, or at least somewhere in eye level. And that's the problem for me with DTOFs or with Billies. But a lot of people use them. So it really matters what you like. Dave Turcos says, TM, how long is your display wall? Oh, that's a good question. Here, I'll show you. So it starts over there. And it's probably about 40 feet from end to end. Yeah, I think it's about 20, maybe 30 feet. It's about 30 feet from end to end. Nobody's ever asked that question. That's an interesting question. Last Prime says, I'm doing DTOS for now, currently searching for backgrounds and risers. I like the museum aesthetic. I wish I had those backgrounds. So Jay Stabler, I hope he doesn't mind. I'm going to show an image of his. So Jay Stabler, I had his collection recently shown on my channel. If you guys watch my videos, you'll know that I'm doing the series called TF Collection Tours. And we did a TF Collection Tour with Jay Stabler's collection. I don't know if he's on right now, probably not, but he sent me an update. This is really just mind-blowing. Look at this. That is incredible what he's done. So he's basically taken all the detops. He's got risers in there for multiple levels. So let me zoom in so you can see a little better. Oh, I don't know if you can zoom in. There we go. Okay, there we go. So every single one of those has a background in it. I think he's using the, what's it called? Extreme sets. That's what he's using back here in the backgrounds. He's got the same thing for his Decepticon shelves. It's absolutely incredible to me that he's got it all set up that. I really want something like that. I wish I could get. That's a lot of sets. I mean, we're talking hundreds of dollars just for the backgrounds that he's got there. No, not to mention the detops. Now, I like that he's put it off the ground on these. That actually helps with the problem that I have, which is the bottom shelf being kind of useless. So what he has down here are his thirds or his fourths. But that's a really good way to display. A lot of people do detops. I haven't really been doing detops. But thanks, Last Prime. 3 live stream. When I do get them displayed, not everything will be displayed. I'm going to take stuff out and they will rotate so the mass will be less. That keeps me active with my collection. Yeah, it's really nice to be able to switch them out. That keeps you interested, gets you to kind of see something new. Almost like kids' toys, right? Take away the toy they've been playing with for 3 weeks, put the new one out that you had, stored, and it's going to be like new. Sorry, not a displaced question. Hope Bob says, but what do you think about the Magic Square Devi? I answered this already. My TF News Live next week, next Wednesday, we are going to dive right into that question, and we will cover that. We'll cover the news on both Magic Square and New Age. So stay tuned for next week. Thank you for asking. Yu Zhang, the studios. I already answered this question. Either you weren't listening or you missed it. You tend to ask the same question multiple times. I need my my moderators here. Nice Transformers in the background. Thank you. Yeah, I already did a quick tour of a little bit. Again, every 6 months I do a tour of my collection. So if you're interested in seeing a little bit more detailed of what I have in my collection, how I display it, you can watch that. I'll have another one coming up in just another couple months. So you can see everything. I didn't really spend too much time today because I didn't want to focus on that. Mr. Maga, which Bruticus is better for G1 shelves? Zeta Toys, Ragnaros, or MMC Oculomax Assaultus? Me personally, I think the MMC is more G1, but it's very small. So it doesn't really fit in terms of scale. Over here, so you can see that is the Zeta Toys with the MMC limbs. The MMC is about 2/3 the size of Constructor. So if you have him next to Constructor, it's not going to look right. So you kind of have to have him on his own. The Ragnaros is also a little bit shorter, but at least it's somewhat in the same range. So if you're looking for more G1, I definitely recommend MMC. What are they sitting on? That must be an older question. I don't know what you're asking about. So you'll have to explain Xbox. 3 live stream. People bust on details, but they can be done amazing, like that gentleman did. Congratulations, well done. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. This is amazingly well done. This is also very expensive, but it's amazingly well done. Kudos to Jay for making that look amazing. Zeta Bruticon with Make Toys Vortex Blast Off arms. Yes, that's what I have over there. That is Zeta torso with the MMC arms and legs, not Make Toys, MMC. Frake6, I don't know how to say your name. Fraxlick says, I struggle with the thematic groupings. For example, I want my season 1 MPs together, but Jetfire is too tall. Also, the Autobot cast is much larger. Balance gets thrown off. Yeah, that is definitely that is an issue. So here's my shelf with Jetfire on it. And you can see I tried to put other big bots on the same shelf, but it's hard because he's so tall that you end up putting a huge space. And then you've got that space between the figures, and that kind of sucks. Another good reviewer has been covering this display stuff, which is Bobby Skullface. Bobby's a friend of mine. I like Bobby a lot. I like his channel, like his content. And he's been doing collection critique, something like that. And where he talks, shows images of people's collections, and then talks about how to improve your display. So if you're interested in stuff like that, you can check out Bobby Skullface's channel. It's pretty fun. DR says IKEA Millsbow is a great case that's reasonably priced. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up now because you mentioned it. IKEA Millsbow. I'll move on to the next comment, but then actually no, here it is. I found it. So this is what you're just. Oh, that's really nice. That's beautiful. So the problem with the IKEA, let me tell you, I would buy stuff like this if I could. Problem with IKEA is unless they have a location near you, you're going to pay a ridiculous amount for shipping. I looked up what it would cost to send DTOFs. It was close to $200. It was quadruple the amount of the thing I was buying. So while they have beautiful stuff like this is $200. It's going to cost me probably $400 just to get it here. And that's unfortunate. So if you live near an IKEA, it's great. You can just go pick it up. If you don't, you're kind of stuck. Fancy Cinegang says, I just started. I only have one shelf above my clothes in the closet. Has my 3P combiners and the PLP breads and CW Devi. Yeah, so it's hard. You got to find good space. You got to find a spot where things will fit, especially if you have combiners. Fancy Cinegang, love seeing everyone else's collection, though. Very inspiring. Yeah, we're going to be doing more of that. So anybody who's listening right now on this live stream, if you would like your collection to be shown off on my channel, you can go to my Facebook page. If you don't know my Facebook page, oh, I have an image I have to show, by the way. If you don't know my Facebook page, it's facebook.com/TMReview, no S, just TM Review. So if you are interested in showing off your collection, all you have to do is send me a message on my Facebook page. I'll respond, and I'll give you a spot to drop the videos. I'm looking for video. So images aren't quite what I need. I want something a little bit longer, a little bit more detailed. So definitely if you're into that, then hit me up there, and I'll work with you to figure out how to get your video to me. All right? So I do want to bring up a couple images here. Oh, I guess I didn't get any images. Samuel Castle says, have you thought about investing in dioramas more? Yeah, I want dioramas. So I like what Jay has. I'm actually thinking of buying those extreme sets. They were on sale, and I missed the sale. So I'm thinking of buying a lot of those extreme sets and just getting rid of the white background and going with the purple and the orange. I think that might look a little nicer. So I might head that way. DX9 or Fans Toys better for Sundacons? If you have been watching my channel for any period of time, you'll know that I prefer the Fans Toys Stunticons. I just think they're better quality. But that's my view. Yu Zhang, you can buy what you like. Okay, we'll take a couple more comments, and then we're going to end for today. So Bob Hope says, or Hope Bob, I keep saying Bob Hope. I dislike when people cram more than a few figures on one shelf. Less is more when it comes to displaying. Well said, Hope Bob. When you cram stuff in, it's really hard to see. If you're going to do that, you need risers to have different levels. So absolutely. You don't have to display everything. Put it back in the box or put it in storage and then switch them out so that you have enough space. Xbox says the walls of DTOFs, the black things they're sitting on. Oh yeah, those are those are like, I forgot what he called them, but those can also be bought from IKEA, Xbox. So he basically bought those bottom shelves, and then he put the detops on top of those bottom shelves. I think they're IKEA shelves. Forgot the name of them. All right, I think I'm going to call it there. Who makes the kit to mash up Zeta and MMC Bruticus? That is, let me just get it here. So he is talking about this. So that Bruticus is made, that kit's made by Ramses Eden. So if you're interested in combining, a lot of people ask why. Why did I do that? So I really like the MMC limbs. The limb bots look great. They're good, really good quality. But the MMC combiner is too small. It doesn't fit in my collection. So this kit allows you to get a Zeta-sized combiner with the limbs from MMC. So if you weren't happy with the size, that's what this does. The site's called Ramses Eden Customs. You can go to Facebook, type in Ramses Eden Customs, and you'll find it on there. DD says, Bobby's Cosplay's collection critiques are great. Yeah, I like them too. I like watching them. I'll be honest, that partially, not quite, but it partially inspired me to do the TF collection tours. It's a little bit different, but it's a similar type of thing. I say that if you want something that you like, build it and pay for some, or pay someone who can build it for you. Yeah, I like to build my own stuff. I don't really have the luxury of paying someone to build it for me, at least right now during COVID times. That's really hard to do. So, yeah, I like to build it myself if I can. So I'll go to Amazon, buy the stuff, and build it if it's possible. Link to YouTube video. You're gonna have to explain a little bit more than that. All right, I'm gonna take 2 more questions, and then today we're gonna call it. But again, join us on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for TF News Live. So we'll have Pig for Life, T-Man 978. We're gonna go over all the news, including that Magic Square Devi and the New Age Devi and a bunch of other stuff that's been revealed. Mr. Mangan, do you have headmasters on your shelf? If you do, who's your favorite? I only have one headmaster. You can see it right there. That headmaster is Vans Toys Dracula, which is Mind Wipe. I just am not that into the headmasters. If Make Toys puts out more, I will buy them. But right now, it doesn't. Make Toys is not looking too good. The health of their company is in jeopardy, so we'll see what happens. Who's your favorite Autobot wrecker? I would say Topspin. Topspin is my favorite wrecker. I really like Topspin a lot. I wish there was a Masterpiece Topspin. I don't have a good one. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. Johan, thanks for the compliment. I appreciate that. And we will see you on Wednesday night. Again, we're going to do this again Saturday night. Actually, next weekend, I don't know if I'm going to be here at home, so we might be skipping next Saturday Night Live. We're starting to, people are starting to get the vaccines. Thank goodness we're getting back to normal, hopefully in the next few months. What that means, though, is I probably won't be doing Saturday Night Lives every Saturday night. So we will definitely do the TF News Live every month, and I will be doing Saturday Night Live maybe every other Saturday. So thanks for watching, guys. Catch me next Wednesday, and we'll see you next time. Peace.